whole story.
When Jimmy Carter was interviewed by Channel 4's Jon Snow, he'd been out of office only 4 years, but had begun...
Is the Russo-Ukraine war the first time post-World War II that American military support is morally justifiable? Of course, this is the wake of the Obama's fumble of Crimea seizure and separatist agitation. No, the only reason why it's considered morally justifiable is because of Russia's overarching, violent, and completely unjustifiable military action. Any matter of foreign conflict could be solved through diplomacy, and many other parties have tried to solve this through diplomacy, and Russia's unwillingness, but also Western agitation and specifically American agitation certainly played a role in this as well. America is morally on the right side in terms of Ukrainian emancipation, but for the wrong reasons. Oh my God, that shot of the World Trade Center after Carter helped fund the people who take them down to cinema. Oh, Jesus. Wait, let me play this again.
When Jimmy Carter was interviewed by Channel 4's Jon Snow, he'd been out of office only 4 years, but had begun arguably the most productive period of his public life.
So we're building about one house per day for people who don't have homes without interest. The Bible says you shan't charge interest to people who are poor. So we believe in biblical economics.
The deeply religious Christian reborn this time as social reformer and humanitarian who dedicated himself to helping the disadvantaged. It was that mission, as well as his ongoing efforts to find solutions to international conflicts, that earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002.
Mr. Carter, can we have some questions, please?
But Carter failed to broker a peace deal between the Israelis and Palestinians later that same decade, when he famously visited the town of Ramallah in the West Bank and met with a senior member of Hamas, to the anger of Israel.
But I'm not a negotiator. I'm just trying to understand different opinions and provide communications between people that won't communicate with each other.
He would show that same determination when he was later diagnosed with liver cancer in 2015.
Yeah, there was a lot of healthcare initiatives the Carter Center worked on. There was also a lot of like global diplomacy initiatives that they worked on as well. It's like it's shocking to see that a former president started a think tank that actually was like center left in American foreign policy. That's like unique. Okay.
Spread to his brain.
I just thought I had a few weeks left.
Miraculously, he recovered and, despite old age, continued to tirelessly pursue his projects, building homes for the underprivileged, even as his own fragility began to show. Taking a tumble in 2019, he still refused to slow down. But without doubt, one of Carter's most enduring legacies will be the partnership he shared with his beloved wife.
Hamas, I don't think they existed at the time. I don't know what part they were talking about, but yes, Hamas certainly didn't exist at the time. But he did. I'm pretty sure the Carter, the Carter Center monitored the 2007 elections, as they've monitored every Venezuelan election as well.
Rosalind, to whom he was married for 77 years.
So I think they were talking about the extremist terrorists within the PLO. Remember, suspiciously, every Palestinian group that is tasked with Palestinian emancipation, whether they are negotiating with Israel or not negotiating with Israel, is a terrorist. There's actually a really good Palestine legal convo between Palestine Legal's own Dylan Saba and Brace Belden and Liz Franzak of the True or Not podcast, where they talk about the terrorism designation and its first application in American history. And it was first utilized, this vague terminology was first applied to the PLO and has consistently been used against every Palestinian liberation organization, Palestinian Liberation Group. So Lolo blocked me on TikTok because I kept calling him out on isolationist talking points. Okay, take a week off and really reconsider why you think I would be I would do anything against that. It's like, yeah, hey, what's up, guys? I'm annoying. They were actually Hamas. It was 2008. Yeah, if they're talking about 2008, then it is Hamas. But if they're talking about when Carter was in charge, then yeah, it's not. And trust me, that Hamas didn't really exist back then. It was basically an Islamic charity. Carter paused aid for the El Salvador military that abducted, raped, and killed 3 U.S. nuns for a brief moment, then continued giving aid. White people said he wrote a book and a house. Yes, chatter. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. I'm gearing up for that side, the dark side, the side that isn't often covered.
So important was she to Carter that Rosalind was often invited to cabinet meetings during their years in the White House. And when she passed away in 2023, then 99-year-old Carter attended the memorial service despite
Alta Salty Baba, thank you for the 5-tier-1, give the subs.
having been placed in hospice care himself earlier in the year. He was determined to be there.
By the way, okay, there's 2 things I learned that I didn't know about Carter since his passing. Number 1, Yasser Arafat tried to warn Carter that their Republicans were like the Reagan campaign was actually trying to get the PLO to open up back channel communications with Iran to sidestep Carter's administration and extend the refugee crisis in an effort to use it as the hostage crisis in an effort to use it as a weapon against Carter. And Jimmy Carter literally threw his hands up in the air and said, I don't care. Don't tell me about any of this. That's one thing I learned. And the other thing I heard, and I don't know the veracity of the second one, but the other thing I learned was that and this one is even crazier. Apparently Jimmy Carter was not allowed to speak at Obama's inauguration, which is unique. Okay. And the reason for why, hold on, was apparently he wanted to, like, he was at the inauguration, but he was not, was it at the DNC? Oh, this right here. There was less overt tension between Mr. Carter and Mr. Obama, but little warmth either. The former president was annoyed at being left off the program of live speakers at Mr. Obama's nominating convention in 2008, but supported the younger man's efforts to expand healthcare for the indigent at home while criticizing the continued use of drone strikes to target terrorists overseas. This is a long write-up describing how Jimmy Carter's post-presidency work often conflicted with the agenda of the U.S. government, and there isn't a single mention of Palestine, not one. Why didn't Jimmy Carter, according to the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, why didn't Jimmy Carter speak from the podium at the Democratic National Convention? Alan Dershowitz said he had something to do with it. An interview with Shalom TV, the Harvard law professor says he pushed Barack Obama very hard to make that decision. Dershowitz said in an interview with Shalom TV, Barack Obama had to make a choice between his Jewish supporters and his anti-Israel supporters like Jimmy Carter, and he did not choose Jimmy Carter. And that was an embarrassment for Jimmy Carter and a show of disrespect. It was a good decision, a wise decision, a moral decision, Dershowitz added. Now, I'll say this. Alan Dershowitz is a notorious plagiarizer and a fabulist. Therefore, I don't know if he's just kind of planting himself into the story by lying to Shalom TV. Having said that, however, he did have access and was regarded as a person of worth, a person of decent notoriety that was a member of the elites at the time, and therefore he could have easily had Obama's ear. So I don't know like I said, this claim I don't know the veracity of. Because if the only proof of this is the fact that Jimmy Carter was not allowed to speak at Obama's nominating convention, or and the fact that Alan Dershowitz himself said it, okay, uh, I will, it could be fake. It could be him lying to create a story around how much more access and power he actually had, how much more influence he had within the Obama administration. Now, I mean, he is a serial liar, is what I mean. Okay, he's a serial liar, Jeffrey Epstein's bestie. So take this information with a grain of salt, even though it is kind of funny. However, I will say it is unique how much mainstream outlets have erased Jimmy Carter's post-presidential work in terms of the books that he wrote about Israel, for example. Learned this about Carter today. One of the promises you made in 1976 was if you were elected, you would look into reports from Roswell and see if there would be any cover-ups. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. CIA came and contacted a woman. Oh, God, stop. It's like it's the most boring part of every fucking palace intrigue story is like alien shit. Some of you guys literally need lobotomies, man. I swear to fucking Christ. Like, I'm over here talking about covert operations that the CIA is actively engaged in terms of like destabilizing the entire planet that led to like sometimes millions of people being fucking ruthlessly slaughtered in the hands of our allies that we offered fucking material support to. And you go, what about aliens though? But Jimmy Carter and aliens, like, shut the fuck up. God damn, dude. It's just like, I feel like it's a unique way for all of the conspiratorial minded people to just like shift the attention away from real vectors of pain to like some fucking dumbass shit. God damn, dude. This shit pisses me off so much. Anyway, I really do need to take a fucking day or two off. Holy moly. Just eyes on the prize, man. Eyes on the fucking prize. Jesus Christ. Eyes on what like actually like you just don't give a fuck about anything. Like you don't care about anything. You just care about like the conspiracy theories and the fucking grand narrative of it all. You don't care about like the actual fucking conspiracies that lead to like real people dying, okay?